Imagine a world hidden from plain sight. This world is bustling with life. It is the world of microorganisms. These are living organisms, often called microbes. They are incredibly small, far too tiny for us to see without help. To observe their intricate forms and activities, scientists use powerful tools called microscopes. These fascinating creatures are not confined to remote corners of our planet. Instead, they are found absolutely everywhere. From the highest mountain peaks to the deepest ocean trenches, microorganisms thrive. They are truly the unseen architects of our world, shaping it in countless ways, often without us even noticing their profound influence on our daily lives and the environment. Microorganisms inhabit an astonishing range of environments. You can find them floating in the air we breathe every moment. They swim in the water we drink and use for daily chores. They live abundantly in the soil beneath our feet, contributing to its fertility. Even more surprisingly, vast communities of microbes live inside our own bodies. Our skin, our mouths, and especially our digestive systems are home to trillions of these tiny guests. They have adapted to survive in extreme conditions too. Some love boiling hot springs, others prefer freezing Antarctic ice. This adaptability makes them one of the most successful groups of organisms on Earth, demonstrating incredible resilience. Why should we care about these invisible entities? Their importance cannot be overstated. Microorganisms play absolutely crucial roles in almost every aspect of life on this planet. They are fundamental to the health of ecosystems. They drive essential processes like nutrient cycling. They impact our personal health in both positive and negative ways. Some can cause diseases, which we all try to avoid. However, many others are beneficial, helping us digest food or produce medicines. Understanding them helps us understand life itself. Their collective activities maintain the balance of nature, making Earth habitable for larger organisms like ourselves. This exploration will serve as your guide into this microscopic realm. We will journey together to uncover the secrets of these tiny life forms. We will look closely at the main different types of microorganisms. We will discover what makes each group unique in its structure and function. We will learn about the diverse roles they play, both good and bad. We will see how they contribute to nature's grand cycles and how they affect us directly. Prepare to be amazed by the power and complexity hidden within the world of the very small. This journey will unveil the profound impact these organisms have on our existence. The world of microorganisms is incredibly diverse. There are countless types, each with its own special characteristics. For simplicity, we often group them into several major categories. In this introduction, we will focus on 4 of the most significant groups. These are viruses, bacteria, protists, and fungi. Each of these groups contains a vast array of different species. Learning about them helps us understand their specific roles. They all operate on a microscopic scale, yet their collective impact is monumental, influencing everything from global nutrient cycles to individual health and disease. First, let's consider viruses. These are the smallest of all the microbes we will discuss. In fact, many scientists debate whether viruses are truly living things. This is because they cannot reproduce on their own. They need to infect a living host cell to make copies of themselves. Think of them as tiny, sophisticated hijackers. They carry genetic information, either DNA or RNA, encased in a protein coat. Once inside a host, they take over the cell's machinery. They force it to produce more viruses, often leading to the host cell's destruction. This unique life cycle sets them apart from other microbes. Next are bacteria. Bacteria are single-celled organisms. They are classified as prokaryotes. This term means their cells are relatively simple in structure. Most notably, they do not have a nucleus to enclose their genetic material, which is DNA. Their DNA usually floats freely within the cell's cytoplasm. Bacteria are found in nearly every habitat on Earth. They are incredibly diverse in their shapes, sizes, and metabolic capabilities. Some bacteria can cause diseases, but many others are harmless or even beneficial. They play critical roles in decomposition, nutrient cycling, and even in our own digestion, making them indispensable. Finally, we have protists and fungi. Protists are mostly single-celled organisms, but they are eukaryotes. This means their cells are more complex than bacterial cells. Eukaryotic cells possess a true nucleus which houses their DNA. They also have other specialized structures called organelles. Algae and amoebas are common examples of protists. Fungi, which include yeasts, molds, and mushrooms, are also eukaryotes. Some fungi, like yeasts, are single-celled. Others, like molds and mushrooms, are multicellular. Fungi are distinct from plants because they cannot make their own food. Instead, they absorb nutrients from their environment, often by decomposing organic matter. Viruses are truly unique entities in the biological world, existing at the very edge of what we define as life. They are incredibly small, much smaller than bacteria or any other cellular organism. A virus is essentially a tiny package of genetic material. This material can be either DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid, or RNA, ribonucleic acid, depending on the type of virus. This genetic core is protected by an outer protein shell called a capsid. Some viruses, like the influenza virus, have an additional outer layer called an envelope. This envelope is often derived from the host cell's membrane and can help the virus infect new cells. The defining characteristic of a virus is its complete dependence on a living host cell for reproduction. Viruses lack the cellular machinery needed to replicate on their own. They cannot metabolize nutrients or produce their own proteins. So, to make more viruses, they must invade a suitable host cell. The infection process typically begins when a virus particle attaches to the surface of a host cell. It then injects its genetic material into the cell's interior. Once inside, the viral genes essentially take command. They reprogram the host cell, turning it into a dedicated factory for manufacturing new virus components, assembling them into complete viral particles. Many diseases that affect humans, animals, and plants are caused by viruses. The common cold, for instance, can be caused by hundreds of different viruses, with rhinoviruses being a frequent culprit. Influenza, commonly known as the flu, is another widespread viral illness caused by influenza viruses. More severe and life-altering diseases such as HIV/AIDS, human immunodeficiency virus, acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, polio, measles, and Ebola are also viral in origin. Even some forms of cancer are linked to viral infections. Each virus typically targets specific types of cells or organisms, contributing to the diverse range of illnesses they can cause. This specificity in infection is a fascinating aspect of virology. A particular virus usually only infects certain types of cells within a specific host organism, or sometimes only a narrow range of host species. For example, the human papillomavirus, HPV, primarily infects human skin and mucosal cells. Bacteriophages are viruses that specialize in infecting bacteria, and they are harmless to human cells. This specificity is largely determined by the interaction between proteins on the virus surface and receptor molecules on the host cell surface. It's like a key fitting into a specific lock, allowing the virus entry only into cells that possess the correct receptor. Bacteria represent one of the oldest and most abundant forms of life on our planet. These remarkable organisms are single-celled, meaning each bacterium is a complete self-contained living unit. They're found in an astonishing variety of habitats, from the scalding waters of geothermal hot springs to the frigid ice of polar regions, from the deepest parts of the ocean floor to the upper layers of the atmosphere, even inside the bodies of other organisms, including humans. Their cellular structure is classified as prokaryotic. This means their cells lack a true nucleus and other complex membrane-bound organelles found in eukaryotic cells, making their internal organization relatively simple yet highly efficient. Bacteria exhibit a surprising diversity in their physical forms. Scientists often categorize them based on their characteristic shapes. Spherical bacteria are known as cocci. Rod-shaped bacteria are called bacilli. Spiral-shaped bacteria are referred to as spirilla or spirochetes. These basic shapes can further arrange themselves into pairs, chains, or clusters, adding another layer of structural diversity. Many bacteria possess flagella, which are long, whip-like appendages. These flagella rotate like propellers, enabling the bacteria to move actively through liquid environments. Some bacteria also have shorter, hair-like structures called pili, which can help them attach to surfaces or exchange genetic material with other bacteria. While some bacteria are infamous for causing diseases, a vast majority are either harmless or incredibly beneficial. Many species play crucial ecological roles, such as decomposing organic matter and recycling nutrients. In our own bodies, particularly in the digestive system, trillions of bacteria form a complex community known as the gut microbiota. These resident bacteria aid in the digestion of food components that our own cells cannot break down. They also synthesize essential vitamins like vitamin K and some B vitamins. Furthermore, they help protect us from pathogenic bacteria by competing for space and resources, acting as a natural defense mechanism. However, it is true that certain types of bacteria can be harmful and cause infections. These are known as pathogenic bacteria. For instance, can cause conditions like strep throat and scarlet fever. Certain strains of commonly E. coli can lead to severe food poisoning if ingested through contaminated food or water. Species are another well-known cause of foodborne illnesses. Fortunately, many bacterial infections can be effectively treated with antibiotics. These are powerful drugs that specifically target and kill bacteria or inhibit their growth, helping our immune system overcome the infection. Section 5. Protists, the diverse single-celled wonders. Protists constitute an extraordinarily diverse kingdom of eukaryotic organisms. Being eukaryotic means their cells contain a true nucleus, which encases their genetic material and also possess other membrane-bound organelles that perform specialized functions within the cell. The vast majority of protists are single-celled, existing as independent microscopic entities. However, some protist species are multicellular, such as certain types of large seaweeds like kelp. Protists are predominantly aquatic, thriving in a wide range of watery environments. You can readily find them in freshwater ponds, lakes, and rivers, as well as in the saltwater of oceans and estuaries. They also inhabit moist soil and can even live inside other organisms. Due to their immense diversity, protists are often informally categorized based on their general characteristics, sometimes being described as animal-like, plant-like, or fungus-like. The animal-like protists are commonly referred to as protozoa. These organisms are typically motile, meaning they can move around, and they are heterotrophic, meaning they obtain nutrients by consuming other organisms. Familiar examples include the amoeba, which moves using flowing extensions of its cytoplasm called pseudopods, and the paramecium, which propels itself using numerous tiny, hair-like cilia. These protozoa play important roles as predators and decomposers in microbial ecosystems. The plant-like protists are primarily algae. These organisms are autotrophic, meaning they can produce their own food through the process of photosynthesis, just like plants. They contain chloroplasts, the organelles where photosynthesis takes place, capturing light energy to convert carbon dioxide and water into sugars. Algae range from microscopic single-celled forms like diatoms and dinoflagellates, which form part of oceanic phytoplankton, to large multicellular seaweeds. They are crucial primary producers in aquatic ecosystems, forming the base of many food webs and releasing a significant amount of the world's oxygen. Their vibrant colors come from various pigments used in photosynthesis. The third group, fungus-like protists, includes organisms such as slime molds and water molds. These protists share some characteristics with fungi, particularly their mode of nutrition. They are heterotrophic decomposers, absorbing nutrients from dead or decaying organic matter in their environment. Slime molds are fascinating organisms that can exist as individual amoeboid cells, but can also aggregate to form larger, multicellular structures under certain conditions. Water molds, despite their name, are not true fungi and were historically misclassified. Some water molds are plant pathogens, such as the one responsible for potato blight. This diversity makes the protist kingdom a fascinating area of study. Section 6. Fungi, nature's decomposers and recyclers. Fungi are a distinct kingdom of eukaryotic organisms, separate from plants, animals, and protists. This group includes a wide array of life forms, from the familiar mushrooms that sprout in forests to the less conspicuous yeasts and molds. While mushrooms are clearly visible multicellular structures, many fungi, or parts of their life cycle, are microscopic. A key characteristic that distinguishes fungi from plants is their inability to perform photosynthesis. They lack chlorophyll and cannot produce their own food. Instead, fungi are heterotrophic, obtaining their nutrients by absorbing dissolved molecules, typically by secreting digestive enzymes into their environment to break down complex organic matter. The main body of most multicellular fungi is composed of a network of fine, thread-like filaments called hyphae. These hyphae grow and branch extensively, forming an interconnected mass known as a mycelium. The mycelium is often hidden from view, spreading through soil, wood, or other nutrient sources. It is the primary feeding structure of the fungus. The visible structures we commonly recognize, such as mushrooms or puffballs, are actually the reproductive fruiting bodies of the fungus. Their main purpose is to produce and disperse spores, which are tiny reproductive units that can grow into new fungi if they land in a suitable environment. Yeasts are a type of fungus that are typically single-celled. They reproduce asexually, often through a process called budding, where a small new cell pinches off from the parent cell. Humans have utilized yeasts for thousands of years in food and beverage production. For instance, Saccharomyces cerevisiae, also known as baker's yeast or brewer's yeast, is essential for making bread, beer, and wine. During fermentation, yeast consumes sugars and produces alcohol and carbon dioxide. The carbon dioxide gas causes bread dough to rise, while the alcohol is the key component in alcoholic beverages. Molds are another common type of fungi, often seen as fuzzy growths on decaying food or damp surfaces. While many fungi are beneficial or harmless, some species can cause diseases in humans, animals, and plants. In humans, common fungal infections include athlete's foot and ringworm, which affect the skin. Candida albicans, a type of yeast, can cause opportunistic infections known as candidiasis, such as oral thrush or vaginal yeast infections, particularly in individuals with weakened immune systems. Fungi are also significant plant pathogens, causing a wide range of diseases like rusts, smuts, and mildews, which can lead to substantial crop losses in agriculture. Despite these negative impacts, the role of fungi as decomposers is absolutely vital for ecosystem health. Section 7. The hidden workforce, microbes in ecosystems. Microorganisms are the unsung heroes of our planet's ecosystems. They form a vast, invisible workforce that carries out essential functions, without which life as we know it could not exist. Their collective activities are fundamental to the health and stability of every environment, from the smallest pond to the largest ocean. One of their most critical contributions is their involvement in nutrient cycling. Microbes help to transform and move vital chemical elements such as carbon, nitrogen, phosphorus, and sulfur through the soil, water, air, and living organisms. This continuous recycling ensures that these elements are available for use by plants and other life forms, sustaining the entire biosphere. Decomposition is perhaps the most well-known ecological role performed by microorganisms, particularly bacteria and fungi. When plants and animals die, their complex organic matter needs to be broken down. Decomposers are nature's recyclers. They secrete enzymes that break down dead leaves, fallen trees, animal carcasses, and other organic waste into simpler inorganic substances. These simpler substances, such as minerals and nutrients, are then released back into the soil or water. Plants can then absorb these nutrients, using them to grow and thrive. This process prevents the accumulation of dead material and ensures that essential resources are continuously reused within the ecosystem, a truly vital service. Many microorganisms participate in symbiotic relationships, which are close and long-term interactions between different biological species. Symbiosis can take various forms. In mutualism, both partners benefit from the association. A classic example is the bacteria living in the human gut. They receive food and shelter, while we benefit from their aid in digestion and vitamin production. Another example is mycorrhizal fungi, which form associations with the roots of most plants. The fungi help plants absorb water and mineral nutrients from the soil, and in return, the plants provide the fungi with sugars produced through photosynthesis. These partnerships are widespread and crucial for the survival of many organisms. Furthermore, certain microorganisms play a direct role in producing the oxygen we breathe. Billions of years ago, ancient photosynthetic bacteria called cyanobacteria, also known as blue-green algae, began releasing oxygen into Earth's atmosphere as a byproduct of their metabolism. This gradually transformed the planet's atmosphere, paving the way for the evolution of aerobic oxygen-using organisms, including animals. Today, cyanobacteria and photosynthetic protists, such as phytoplankton in the oceans, continue to be major producers of atmospheric oxygen. Their contribution to the global oxygen supply is immense, highlighting yet another way these tiny organisms sustain life on a grand scale. Section 8, Friends or Foes, Microbes, Diseases and Our Defenses. While the vast majority of microorganisms are either beneficial or harmless, a small fraction can act as pathogens, meaning they are capable of causing disease. These disease-causing microbes can disrupt the normal functioning of our bodies, leading to illness. We have already touched upon some examples. Viruses are responsible for common ailments like the flu and the common cold, as well as more serious conditions like measles or HIV. Pathogenic bacteria can cause infections such as strep throat, tuberculosis, and food poisoning. Certain protists, like Plasmodium, cause devastating diseases such as malaria. And some fungi can lead to skin infections like athlete's foot or more systemic infections in vulnerable individuals. Fortunately, our bodies are equipped with a sophisticated and multi-layered defense system designed to protect us from these invading pathogens. This is known as the immune system. The first line of defense consists of physical and chemical barriers. Our skin acts as a formidable physical barrier, preventing most microbes from entering the body. Mucous membranes, which line the respiratory, digestive, and urogenital tracts, secrete mucus that traps microbes. Other defenses include stomach acid, which can kill many ingested pathogens, and enzymes like lysozyme found in tears and saliva, which can break down bacterial cell walls. These barriers form part of our innate immunity, the non-specific defense mechanisms we are born with. If pathogens manage to breach these initial barriers and enter the body, the innate immune system mounts a rapid non-specific response. Specialized white blood cells are key players in this process. For example, phagocytes, such as neutrophils and macrophages, are cells that can engulf and digest invading microbes and cellular debris. This process is called phagocytosis. Another component of the innate response is inflammation, characterized by redness, swelling, heat, and pain at the site of infection. Inflammation helps to recruit immune cells to the affected area and limit the spread of the pathogen. Natural killer, or NK cells, are another type of lymphocyte that can recognize and destroy virus-infected cells or tumor cells. Beyond the rapid innate response, our bodies also possess an adaptive immune system, which provides a more targeted and long-lasting defense. This system is highly specific, meaning it can recognize and remember particular pathogens. Lymphocytes, specifically B cells and T cells, are central to adaptive immunity. B cells produce proteins called antibodies, which can bind to specific antigens, molecules on the surface of pathogens, and neutralize them or mark them for destruction. T cells have various roles, including cytotoxic T cells that directly kill infected host cells, and helper T cells that coordinate the overall immune response. A crucial feature of adaptive immunity is immunological memory, allowing the body to respond more quickly and effectively to subsequent infections by the same pathogen. Section 9, Harnessing the Power of the Small Microbes in Our Lives. Humans have ingeniously learned to harness the power of microorganisms for a multitude of beneficial purposes, significantly improving our quality of life. In the field of medicine, microbes play a pivotal role. Perhaps one of the most impactful discoveries was that of antibiotics. These are chemical compounds, many originally derived from bacteria or fungi, that can kill or inhibit the growth of other bacteria. Penicillin, the first widely used antibiotic, was discovered by Alexander Fleming from the Penicillium mold. Antibiotics have revolutionized medicine, transforming once deadly bacterial infections into treatable conditions and saving countless millions of lives around the globe since their introduction. Vaccines represent another monumental medical advancement that relies on our understanding of microorganisms and the immune system. Vaccines work by training our adaptive immune system to recognize and fight specific pathogens without causing the actual disease. They typically contain weakened, inactivated, or parts of a pathogen pathogen antigens. When introduced into the body, these components stimulate an immune response, leading to the production of memory cells. If the vaccinated individual later encounters the live pathogen, their immune system can mount a rapid and robust defense, preventing or significantly reducing the severity of the illness. Vaccines have been instrumental in controlling and even eradicating many infectious diseases like polio, measles, and smallpox. Beyond medicine, microorganisms are indispensable in food production and processing. We have already mentioned the role of yeast, the Saccharomyces cerevisiae, in baking bread and brewing alcoholic beverages through fermentation. Similarly, specific strains of bacteria are crucial for producing a variety of fermented dairy products such as yogurt, cheese, and kefir. These bacteria convert lactose, milk sugar, into lactic acid, which helps to preserve the food, alter its texture, and contribute to its characteristic flavor. Other fermented foods like sauerkraut, kimchi, and pickles also rely on microbial activity. Fermentation not only creates unique tastes and textures, but can also enhance nutritional value and extend shelf life. In conclusion, the microscopic world, though invisible to the naked eye, is teeming with diverse life forms that profoundly impact our planet and our lives. Microorganisms like viruses, bacteria, protists, and fungi play essential roles in ecosystems, from decomposition to nutrient cycling. While some can cause diseases, our bodies have evolved intricate defense mechanisms to combat them, and science has provided us with tools like antibiotics and vaccines. Furthermore, we have learned to utilize the beneficial properties of microbes in medicine, food production, and increasingly in biotechnology and environmental remediation. Understanding these tiny architects of life allows us to appreciate their immense importance and the delicate balance they maintain in the world around us.